I really should just go to the store and go do some shopping, but today when I was out walking and just thinking about a lot of things, um, I had an epiphany of sorts, a revelation. And it's not like all of a sudden this idea just came out of the blue and boom. It's something that I know I've touched on it. I've thought about it. But today it really hit me. It really hit me. And it's a paradox. It really is a paradox that I was thinking about. So I'm a three-time frickin' loser, okay? I've been married three times, three failed marriages. And blame me all you want. I don't care. Yeah, sure, it's my fault. You can even call me a narcissist if you want. I'm sure I'm a narcissist, all right? I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I honestly don't. And that's not what I'm going to get at. But what I'm going to tell you is this. I had that talk about the girl next door, remember, and how she was one of my best friends, as growing up. And it didn't hit me then. Not one of the women that I was married to, of the three, not one of them can I honestly say was ever my best friend. Right there. Therein lies the problem, right there. Right there. And I thought about that, and then I watched that, video clip from my best friend's wedding, and then I got to thinking about connection, and connections I've had in my lifetime, and what makes a lasting relationship. And there's a lot of factors, right? I mean, we all carry childhood trauma, that we need to, and when you bring two adults that have, wounded inner child, you bring those inner children are coming into play, and sometimes they're the ones that take over, and then disaster sets in, right? So you got to do some self work, some self healing, heal that inner child, learn to love yourself, all that stuff. And that's not really what I want to talk about. But that's a big reason relationships fail, and why people don't really gel. They're not really as good of friends as they think they are, because they're never fully honest with each other. But something I was thinking about, and it's like, so ask yourself this question. Have you ever loved somebody so much, cherished that connection with them so much, that the idea of ever losing that is just, it's unacceptable? It can't happen. I mean, I'm not going to lose that person. I don't care. And yet that prevents you from ever going beyond and taking it to that next level, right? Because what happens if you do take it to that next level, you become romantic, and then it fails. What happens? That connection's lost, and it's lost for good. I don't care what anybody says. You will never get that same connection back, ever. It's gone. That's a paradox, right? You don't want to lose them, but my God, if we take it to the next level and it don't work out, because for whatever reason it doesn't work, now you've lost it. That's heavy. Think about it. And I think that that's happened in people's lives, maybe my own. Anyway, but then think about this. Say you have that connection, and this is when I started thinking about my best friend's wedding kind of thing, right? So now you've got this really great friend. I mean, you're connected. You can talk about anything. You accept each other, love each other unconditionally, but you're just not romantic. And I'm talking about a man and a woman relationship, right? or it could, or it could be gay relationships, but I want to just talk about man and woman because that's where I'm at. Um, but say you got this great friendship that you cherish. But say one of you meets somebody, Mr. or Mrs. Right or whatever, and you become romantically involved with someone else. By all rights, that person that you're becoming romantically involved in, if they don't become that person, your best friend, your confidant, that one that is, you're fooling yourself. You're fucking fooling yourself. There is no way, in other words, that person that you now think you're falling in love with and is, the one you want to be romantic with, if they're not taking that other person's place, you are fooling yourself and you're betraying them. You're betraying that new person. Absolutely. And I know that's harsh and that's hurtful, but that's just reality. That is reality. So either you learn to step it up with that person that you really, really never want to lose and take that leap of faith, right? And if that connection's really there, you're probably going to make it as long as you're willing to work at it. No relationship's going to be perfect. No relationship's going to be easy. You got to work at it. Okay? It's not going to be frickin' sunshine and roses and unicorns, and fairies and all that other stuff. It's not a bowl of Lucky Charms every day. There's going to be times that are going to be trying, and you're just going to have to work through them. If that connection really means that much to you, you'll find a way to make it work, regardless of whether you kept it here and then you just never get romantically involved with them or anybody. You could do that. Just romance is just out the window. But then I think it's just superficial. Or that new person becomes your person, and that other person, like say it was me, and my person, my good friend found somebody, I would be a fool not to just step aside. I would have to step aside. Does that mean we can't be friends at all? No, I don't think so. But I think you can still be friends, I guess. But it's gonna back off to like just casual friendship. It can't be that deep. I'm sorry, it just can't. Because otherwise you're cheating that new person. You are absolutely cheating them. And by holding on to this. So you either step this one up and that's it, or you let them go and you make it with that new person, that this Mr. or Mrs. Right. That's the paradox. And it hit me today just because I think back in my lifetime, like especially when I was young, and I had that girl next door best friend. Yep, I let that one get away. Anyway, but if it doesn't mean it can't happen again, and you never know. I mean, see what I'm saying? If your relationship isn't, the foundation of that relationship isn't friendship, a solid friendship where you are each other's safe place, you understand each other, you know each other, you love each other unconditionally, and it's built upon that, it's folly anyway. Fuck, I know too well. I think every one of my committed relationships was pretty much based on sex, you know what I mean? You got caught up in the passion, you got caught up in all that, and you never really got to know each other until after you get married, and then it's like, and then you're never really, I think my second marriage was about as close as I ever come, but even then I was hiding a part of myself that I always was, and I never really considered her my best. I don't know. I might have said she was, because that's the right thing to say. But in reality, no, she was never my best friend and I was never hers. Not that we weren't close, we were, but no. You know, and I've even had women tell me, and even men say, "Oh, I could never marry my best friend. I don't want to ruin a good friendship." And you're just fucking fooling yourself, man. You're just fooling yourself. Anyway, that's just my take. I'm almost 66. I think I've come to realize some things. I'm a little wiser than I was, 20 years ago. Anyway, y'all have a great weekend. And truthfully, at this stage of my life, I honestly don't care anymore. Okay, don't matter to me. But if it were to happen, at least I'm wise enough to know it's got to be built upon that friendship first and foremost. Because if it's not, it's just folly. You're just fooling yourself. And if you're just doing it because you're lonely and you want a companion, fuck, anybody could be your companion. You don't need to get married.